Well, I'm sure that the advantages of CLT are clear to you.
Yes, sir.
Now we may discuss disadvantages of CLT. Disadvantages. Disadvantages of CLT, demerits of CLT. Okay. So by now you can imagine the biggest demerit. What do you think is the demerit, disadvantage? Can you think of from your own experience? You can think of.
That accuracy is not given much importance. Learning grammatical rules is not given importance.
Very good, very good, very good. Now we can then take 2 points at a time. We will begin with say accuracy is not given importance. You may say.
Yeah.
Accuracy is not given importance. Yes. Accuracy of language, that means. Or you may put it this way. CLT focuses upon fluency. CLT focuses upon fluency and not on accuracy. Okay. Now this will be easier for you to elaborate, and not on accuracy. Yes. Yeah, accuracy is the same thing as she pointed out, that accuracy, that means speaking using grammatical English or correct English, that is making correct grammatical sentences, not only acceptable sentences. Except there's a difference between acceptable and grammatical. Something is acceptable but may not be grammatical, but grammatical is always acceptable. Okay, so these like learners, they speak English fluently, but they do not speak English with accuracy. Why? Because accuracy is not focused upon. Right? So this is a major disadvantage of CLT approach, that it focuses on fluency and not on accuracy. The approach does not focus on error reduction, but instead creates a situation where learners are left using their own devices to solve their communication problems. Okay, and that's the reason they produce incoherent, grammatically incorrect sentences. Is it not? Because like if you remember, what is done with the errors? Errors are ignored. They are neglected. They are overlooked. There's a reason, there's a reason there isn't any improvement as far as grammatical or the correct English is concerned. They are made only fluent. They have a good fluency of English. They have a good fluency of speech, but as far as accuracy is concerned, they lack in accuracy. Okay? So the approach does not focus on error reduction. It does not minimize the errors. It does not reduce the errors of the learners. But what does it do? It creates situations where learners are left with using their own ways, using their own devices, using their own methods to solve the communication problems. Why? Because the teacher is just a facilitator. He doesn't intervene. He gives students a free hand. If they have a problem, they solve their problem themselves. For example, like they are having a group discussion, and if suppose somebody is not using the appropriate word, somebody is using a misappropriate word, then what would they do? Instead of asking the teacher, they would either see on their mobile, on the internet, or if the dictionary is around, if they carry a dictionary along with them, then they would see the meaning there in the dictionary. Okay, see the pronunciation in the dictionary, see the usage, say either on the internet or in the grammar book, for that matter. So they solve their problems themselves. So don't you think this way this becomes time consuming?
Yes, sir.
If like teacher, if they sought the help of the teacher, then they can solve the problem quickly. But when if they encounter problems, then they try to solve the problems themselves. Isn't that? What do you think? This is how I interpret this. What do you think? Do you have any other notion? Any other point to make here?
No, sir.
It's just the same?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So CLT, this is the biggest disadvantage. CLT focuses upon fluency and not on accuracy, and that's the reason there is always a possibility of mistakes. Students make mistakes of pronunciation. Students make mistakes in grammar also. So okay, this can be the second point. Possibility. Because if mistakes are ignored, if errors are neglected, then what will happen? They will get reinforced. Mistakes will be like mistakes will be cemented. They in their memory. They would be tattooed in their memory. In the memory. Okay, the way you have tattoos on your hand and all. You can't do away with it. In the same way, if they go on making mistakes over and over again, then the mistakes get reinforced. And this we have read and discussed in the behavioristic theory. Have we not?
Yes, sir.
That if mistakes are not corrected, they are reinforced. That is why in behavioristic theory, what does the teacher do? Teacher reproaches the students for making mistakes, and he rewards them for giving the right responses. Remember that? And who gave that theory? Skinner gave that theory. Very good. Skinner gave the theory. This is how, why do I repeat things and why do I keep asking? So that you do not forget. And I must tell you here, like my lectures are quite long. They are around say 2 to 3 hours long. Why? Because you're supposed to write descriptive answers, and your descriptive answers should run into say 6 to 8 pages. So you need material for 6 to 8 pages. If I'm making a video of just 5 to 10 minutes, then you won't be able to write a descriptive answer. So you get sufficient material in my lectures, which you don't have to refer to any book for that matter. If you are attentive, if you are listening to me attentively, then I would say that the lecture is sufficient. I'm giving you points and I'm writing them so that you take them down. I'm repeating also. I'm not using the mother tongue. Why? Because that wouldn't improve. That won't make improvement in you. I want you, because you have to write in English. You cannot write in the mother tongue. So that is why I repeat over and over again, so that you understand. That's the motive. That's the purpose. And there's a feedback also there in my classroom. You must have seen. I keep asking, well, what did we do in that approach? What did we discuss earlier? So that you remember, you do not forget. So this should, since you are all going to be teachers, you are going to join the same fraternity I am in. Okay, so this is what a teacher should do. So I was saying that there is a possibility of mistakes being reinforced. Possibility of mistakes being reinforced, because these lectures are not for fun. Okay, they're actual classroom lectures. So possibility, and we wish to create actual classroom environment. That's why we try to make the sessions interactive also. So possibility of mistakes being reinforced. In CLT, what happens? This is again another disadvantage with this approach, that here there is a possibility of, there is a danger of mistakes being reinforced. The students are allowed to make mistakes, but they need to be corrected. Okay, they need to be corrected. Preferably not while in the middle of a conversation or in the middle of some activity, but when the activity is over. Okay, when the task is over, when the discussion is over, when the conversation is over, then you can correct the mistakes. And if you do not correct the mistakes, what will happen? Mistakes will be reinforced. Mistakes will be. What do I mean by saying mistakes will be reinforced? Come on.
They will be cemented in us, and we will not.
In our minds, okay? They will be cemented in our minds. Yes.
And we will not be able to correct the mistakes. We will repeat the mistakes again and again.
Mm-hmm. So they are to be corrected. And sometimes, teacher might forget them to correct the mistakes. He would think that he would do it afterwards. Now the activity is over. The students have gone back home, and he forgot to correct their mistakes. Now what would happen? The students would take the mistakes along with them. Okay. So it's better to correct the mistakes soon after the activity is over. Okay. Soon after the discussion is over, group discussion is over. Whatever activity you are holding in the classroom, that's very important. That's very essential to correct the mistakes. Errors shouldn't be neglected. Okay, you can do it while the activity is on, but once the activity is over, you ought to correct the mistakes. Okay. And another thing which he pointed out when I asked her the biggest disadvantage, she said something about grammar. Yes, could you repeat it? Now we can take that point. Yes.
Grammar and pronunciation are not given due importance.
Yeah, very true. That's very true. Grammar. Instead of fusing it with the first point, we can take it here separately. Grammar and pronunciation. Grammar and pronunciation. Pronunciation are not given. Are not given due importance, due significance. Okay, grammar and pronunciation are not given due importance in CLT. What is given importance? What is given predominance? Speech is given predominance. Communicative importance is given predominance or importance. Or say interaction is given. There are the two things are main here: interaction and communicative competence. They are given importance. Grammar and pronunciation are not given due importance. Yes, as we discussed earlier, this approach, the CLT approach, gives priority or say gives importance to meanings and rules of use rather than grammar and rules of structure. Rules of use means the way you use the language, the way you use the language in practical situations. Okay, then the way you use the language in different circumstances. So what is given importance? What is given priority? Priority is given to meanings and rules of use of the language rather than grammar and rules of structure. Grammar is almost ignored and structures are ignored, like sentence patterns and all, they're ignored. Even if they are, making wrong utterances. Making wrong utterances means even if they are, speaking wrong sentences, their sentences are not corrected. They are not told about the pattern. They are not told about the structures. Okay, that is a wrong structure. You should use this structure: S plus V plus IO plus DO. Okay. In other words, it is felt that there is not enough emphasis, there is not enough stress on the correction of pronunciation and grammar errors, grammatical errors. It is because too much focus is given on meaning, and too much importance, too much focus is given on meaning, and that is at the expense of form. At the expense of form. This is important. You must take it down. This is the part of too much focus or importance. Too much importance is given to meaning. At the expense of form. At the cost of form. Okay, what does it mean? Yes, I have discussed it. Now you can very well say too much importance is given to meaning. Okay, at the expense of form. Means form, the structure, the grammar is ignored, and importance is given to meaning. That is communication. The way the students are communicating, the way the students are expressing themselves. Even if they are speaking wrongly, even if they are making wrong sentences, these mistakes are ignored. Say grammatical mistakes are ignored, but what is given primacy, what is given importance, what is given priority? Meaning is given priority, use is given priority, communication is given priority. So this is all done at the expense of form. Okay, form, you may say this is content and this is form. Form means grammar. Form means rules. Form means pattern. Means form of the language. Every language has some grammar. Every language has some rules, some patterns, and we have to abide by those rules. We have to abide by the rules of grammar if we want to be grammatically sound. Yes. So it is observed that there is a danger of focusing too much on oral skills and less on reading and writing skills. This approach emphasizes upon oral skills and say what is subsidiary here, what is secondary here. Reading and writing skills are secondary here. Reading and writing skills are subsidiary here. They are not given priority. They are overlooked, you may say. They are undermined. Here I am reminded of a very popular name, Hughes. Have you heard his name? According to Hughes, he said the communicative language teaching leads to the production of fluent speakers. Okay, but these fluent speakers are not accurate speakers. They speak English or the foreign language falsely. The English is not flawless. Is it okay? Let me write it. Let me write the name. Okay. Too much importance is given to the meaning at the expense of form. This is what I wrote here. Now I'm reminded of. I've seen students mispronouncing the word, like Ted Hughes. You must have read the poems by Ted Hughes, Hawk and all, Hawk Roosting. Have you read? Okay, but he's not the same. Hughes is not a poet. He's a linguist. Okay, and how do you pronounce it? Well, I'm writing it so that everybody understands. Okay, say this is, you may say Hughes. This is how it is. This is the pronunciation. Okay, Hughes. Is it okay? So according to him, that students are fluent but they are not accurate. Okay, so it makes the learners fluent but inaccurate. Is it not?
Yes, sir.
I think this point can be given for say discussion also. He said CLT makes fluent but inaccurate learners. Inaccurate learners. You may have this like according to. Okay. This is according to Hughes. According to Hughes, CLT makes fluent but inaccurate learners. Okay, discuss. Now this can be a question. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Have you understood?
Yes, sir.
So this is a quote by Hughes, and this he said like say in 1980s, 1983. Okay, can you elaborate? Can you explain? Can you discuss just in a couple of lines? Yeah. CLT makes fluent but inaccurate learners. CLT makes fluent but inaccurate learners. Discuss. Yes. Come on, discuss. Come on, tell me.
That the learners are made communicatively competent, but they lack the knowledge of the use of right grammar to make proper sentences, to form proper structures of sentences, to follow the rules of grammar. So this is avoided. Instead of this, fluency is given more importance.
Good, very nice.
The act of speaking is given more importance.
Nice. So this way you can elaborate it. If sometimes your very small quotations are running into 3 or 4 words, but you need to elaborate it in 6 to 8 pages. So you must know how to. Is it fine?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay. And again, as we do in other methods also, like in the direct method or say in situational language teaching. So I would say the same thing here also, that CLT suits smart teachers. CLT suits smart teachers, and there is always a dearth of, there is always a dearth of smart teachers. There is always scarcity of smart teachers are scarce. Means they are not readily available. CLT suits smart. Smart and you may say yes. What can smart? Same thing I can say about not only smart teachers but even smart. You need smart learners also. Okay, smart learners. So CLT suits smart, and let's talk about learners first. CLT suits smart and advanced learners only. Suits smart and advanced. Okay, advanced learners only. CLT suits smart teachers, and not only that is very say reasonable flaw with this. This is a flaw with this, but CLT suits smart and advanced learners only. Okay, CLT suits smart and advanced learners only. That means this method is not suitable for the elementary learners. I am discussing 2 points together here. Remember, do not say that I am not discuss. I am saying 2 things together. I am talking about CLT suits smart teachers, CLT suits only smart teachers, and I am also saying that CLT suits smart and advanced learners. Okay, so that goes without saying. The CLT approach is highly useful for the advanced students. You may say for the intermediate students or or say for the college students, same as the direct method is. But for beginners, some controlled practice is required. Some controlled practices needed. Students with low level of proficiency in the target language may find it difficult, okay, to participate in oral communicative activities. Because we are holding communicative activities absolutely in English, exclusively in English. So what happens as a result? What happens as a result?
Beginners are not able to catch it that well.
They are not comfortable with it. So it doesn't suit them. It suits the advanced learners, but it does not suit the elementary learners. It does not suit at the low level. The communicative fluency may not be appropriate. If the tests and exams conducted by an institution are grammar based. Suppose you have a test, you have an exam, and that exam is grammar based. That exam is based on sentence patterns. That exam is based on the structures of language. So if you are not good at grammar, if you're not good at sentence patterns, then what will happen? You won't do good there in the exam, in the test. Is it fine? This is again a very big flaw with it. How about competitive exams? If you are good at competitive, like the UPSC exam, I must say, or say other state administrative exams are concerned, even if you are good at English, even if you have that communicative competence, can you do well in competitive exams without knowing the rules of grammar,
No, sir.
without knowing the sentence patterns and all?
No, sir.
So this communicative competence doesn't come to our help, doesn't come to our rescue. Is it okay or not?
Yes, sir.
Means howsoever fluent like one might be, or students might be in spoken English, if they are not good at grammar and sentence patterns, they I must say are certain to cut a very sorry figure in competitive exams. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.